Just another brother with another humble question. Just another brother with another humble question.
Welcome to A Brother with Questions. I am your host, B. Period. Man, I appreciate y'all for joining me. Please like, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna jump right in here, man. I've been watching this interview with Tulsi Gabbard on the Tucker Carlson Show. Can't talk tonight, but it's okay. And man, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. When Tulsi Gabbard, I first found out about Tulsi Gabbard, it's been quite a few years now, but the one thing that I loved about Tulsi Gabbard is she was always, or she at least appears to always come across as being honest. When she says what she says, she comes across as you can believe. And so when she ran for president a few years ago now, she was one of the people I was really checking out, because I felt like, this particular lady becomes president, you know what you're gonna get? You can get some honesty out of it. Yes. And that's more than you can say for a lot of politicians. But we're gonna dive in. We're gonna check out a little bit of this interview that she did with Tucker, and let's go. Right now, she's in the middle of telling the story about the vote when President Obama was trying to go into Syria, and some of her thoughts on it. Let's check it out.
I went in with an open mind, saying, give me all of the information. I want to make sure that I do my due diligence before I take a position or make a decision on this. And ultimately, Secretary Kerry came in and briefed us. The answers to very direct questions that I had, such as, what is our objective? What is your objective in wanting to go and start another war in another country? How do you think they will respond? What will you do next? What is that second, third, fourth order of effects and consequences that will always happen?
It's interesting, her questions seem so basic, but a lot of it, you have to look at her background. For those that don't know, she's a war veteran. And so she talks about one of her reasons for running for Congress when she did was because she had served in war. And so she didn't like how politicians were treating the decisions they made. And so she ran as a part of this, correct some of this process. And so here she is sitting on the Foreign Relations Committee, listening to Secretary Kerry and his people talk about this potential war in Syria that we were discussing at the time. And I mean, the questions are so simple, but check out what her response is.
And the question, when I said, what is your objective? I believe it was Secretary Kerry or someone from the State Department who said, well, we don't want to deliver a decapitation. We don't want it to be a pinprick. We want this to be a punch in the gut and send a message. And my question was, okay, so a punch in the gut, like, what will you do when they respond? And they said, well, we don't think there'll be a response.
Like, it's amazing to me that this is the conversation. I mean, we're talking, right, Foreign Relations Committee. So high level, they're discussing secrets, things that the public doesn't know about. And one of the congressmen asked a question like, what are we going to do over the response? And then the response is, well, then we don't think they'll respond. Like, you gotta be kidding me, man. This stuff is a joke. This is why, Washington, D.C. is broke.
That's your plan? You don't think there will be a response?
Gary said
if
that.
Somebody came up and punched you in the gut, would you just not respond. If they don't respond, they've got some pretty, weaponized, powerful friends. You don't think they'll respond? And what if they don't respond to us, but they respond by attacking some of our friends who may be in the region? All of these different kinds of questions. There's like, well, we just don't think they'll do that. Well, what happens next? Well, we think this will send a strong message.
I mean, like, I understand her frustration. I mean, as just a citizen and listening to her conversation, you're just thinking, no, like, these are supposed to be the people who are educated, right? Enough to be able to make decisions about whatever that are going to, number one, theoretically, right, support our position in the world. And then number two, keep us safe and, everybody else around us. And yet they're going into a briefing and they ultimately have no solutions, they don't share thoughts with the people who are supposed to sanction this particular action. They have no thoughts to no real answers to their questions. And remember, at the time, she was a Democrat, right? And Democrats were in office at the time. Now, this is during President Obama's reign, so, all his cabinet members are Democratic friendly, whatever that means, right? Because he appointed them, so they are on the team. But yet, the team don't have no answers.
And it's the same kind of like political BS talk that means nothing and is so disconnected from the reality of the people on the ground who have to live with those consequences. And it really surprised me, and maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, but it surprised me that after so many years of looking back at the massive mistakes of Iraq, that they could be so glib and just saying, oh, we'll just go drop some bombs and send a message and that'll be it.
They learn nothing.
And that's the thing. Because it's not about learning, right? Nobody's learning. We're spending money. We're spending billions and billions and billions of dollars. And we'll just keep spending billions and billions of dollars because the goal is not solutions. The goal is, man, we got to spend this money. Because we all have seen the Monday quarterbacking on Iraq and Afghanistan. And yet, here we are. This is 2013 at the time, but here we are, 2013, and we're still like, yeah, that's okay. We got billions to spend. It's a joke. It's a joke. These people are a joke.
They learned nothing. And so I penned an op-ed and published it. And I was certainly the first Democrat, maybe the first member of Congress to come out in opposition to President Obama's request. And within hours of publishing that op-ed, I got a call from the White House. And essentially what they said was, how dare you? How dare you go against your president? How dare you go against the president who came from your home state? Not a moment of the conversation. There wasn't much of a conversation, first of all, but they were not interested at all in the reason for my opposition.
See, and that's one of the things that I try and tell people. People like to say, oh, you're a Republican based on the comments that you like to make. And I say to people all the time, I'm not any of these things. Because both of these people are disingenuous for all the things that they throw on Republicans and the reasons why as a black man, I'm supposed to hate Republicans. Democrats are doing the exact same thing. But yet you want to hold them up on some pedestal like I'm supposed to respect them more than a Republican. Why? They're both playing the same game. There's some people talking about the uniparty. I haven't done my deep dive on the uniparty, but my goodness, here's a young woman at the time, because she was early 30s at the time, if I'm not mistaken, who is truly there to, quote unquote, make a difference. I'm here to make a difference for the veterans. And yet, when she didn't go along with the get along, they quickly let her know, listen, you ain't on the team. No. You ain't playing. You ain't doing this right. You need to fix this, and you need to fix this quick, because we got a problem. And if you don't fix this, it's going to be a big problem for you. Come on. These are the Democrats. These are supposed to be the good guys. Give me a break.
Which I stated pretty clearly in the op-ed how well thought out this decision was. It was not made haphazardly. They weren't interested in my experience that I brought that helped inform my decision of having deployed twice to the Middle East before. And it told me a lot about them, that they were more concerned with, and they cared more about like being a good member of the team and go Team Obama and go Team Democrats than they were concerned about the actual consequences of the very serious request that he was saying he would come to Congress with.
And there it is. Team. We need you to do what we want you to do. We don't need you to question it. We don't need you asking too deep questions like, listen, you go ahead and, do your thing so your people know that you ask questions. But listen, at the end of the day, we said we wanted to do it, so I need you to stamp that thing. Stamp that thing. What y'all want to do? Oh, okay. Stamp that thing. What y'all need to do? Okay. Stamp that. Like, come on, man. This is why Washington is broken right now. Because everybody is just stamping the team. Nobody wants to have a conversation. Nobody wants to truly debate anything. We just stamping for the team. Which is why it's broken.
It sent a strong message to them as well that I wasn't the person that they thought I was going to be. In someone who could be puppeteered, who could be bullied into just going along with the boss or whatever they had in mind. That was kind of the beginning of their realization that, okay, this one thinks for herself and she's not afraid to take a stand.
So, I mean, at that point, they have two options. They can either try and crush you. You're a freshman, so it's a little early for that. And they've also ginned up the publicity machine on your behalf. You probably weren't even aware of this, but most congressmen come to Washington. No one ever hears. No one knows they're there.
Yeah.
Everyone knew you were there.
Yeah.
So they can try and crush you, or they can try and suborn you, bribe you, give you stuff to win you over.
Yeah.
What did they try?
It is kind of the public things. Like I remember, and I think you'll get a kick out of this, being invited to the White House Correspondence dinner my first year in Congress.
Yeah.
I had guys who've been in Congress that coming up to me saying, gosh, Tulsi, how come you got invited? I've been here for 4 terms, 8 years, and I still haven't gotten invited to that.
These people go, man. They are baiting people to get them on the team. There's one more clip that I want to watch, and then listen. It was a good interview. I actually really enjoyed this interview. I recommend it that you go see it. I want to get this one last experience in that she had.
The warmonger that Hillary Clinton is, and I knew that would provide me with a platform to have a voice and actually speak the truth to the American people about her record and how dangerous she would be if she were ever our president. And
so at the time, what she's talking about is she was vice chair of the Democratic Party at the time. This is 2016 now. And Hillary Clinton's running, Bernie Sanders is running, of course, for the nomination. And she comes out and decides that Hillary Clinton is a warmonger, and I refuse to support this. so that was a problem. that was a big problem in 2016.
How personal this was for me, because the cost is real.
So what happened when you did that?
I announced it on Meet the Press on a Sunday morning. Didn't tell anybody I was doing it. No one, before I went and made that announcement on that show. Monday morning, came back to work, and a lot of my Democrat colleagues were basically reading, you know, drafting their political eulogies for me. Just like, you're done, Tulsi. Hillary will be president. You will not get a single dime for your district. Anything that your community needs.
For your district?
For my district.
Not for your campaign.
Not for me. For my district. They've never given me anything for any of my campaigns, and I'm totally fine.
So that's why I'm going to stop this video. But so check that out. She goes on Meet the Press. This is, like I said, 2016. She decides to endorse Bernie Sanders. This is, of course, at the time where the whole Democratic machine was behind Hillary Clinton becoming president. And for doing so, she goes back to work the next day after Meet the Press. Everybody has written her off to say, listen, you just signed your death. Like, we know you're here. We understand what you did, and hey, man, you stood on your principles, but you can forget about getting money for your district. Like, do you understand that? Like, these people are telling her, because she did not endorse Hillary Clinton at the time, that she would never be able to get money for her district. The people that she went to Congress to serve are going to get cut off because she didn't endorse the machine. This kind of thing, it strengthens my conviction to say, I don't care about these parties. They're playing the same game. Both parties are playing the same game. So you can either get on board with the game, or you can think about what your interests are and vote your interests. Because all this other blah, 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 blah that they're giving you is not real. It's just the talking point so that you will join their team and not the other team. So stop focusing on teams, because we're in the election year right now, and they're pushing teams right now. They're trying to tell you once again that Donald Trump is a racist, and they're trying to tell you once again that Biden loves whatever. Don't fall for the okie doke. Figure out what your issue is, and then really consider who's going to give you the best chance to solve the issue that you care about. Because they're playing the same game. Both of them. As my guy Jason Whitlock would say, the uniparty. Right? As Royce White would say, the uniparty. Alex Jones, I believe, talks about the uniparty too. They're the same party. So stop.
Yeah.